So basically this is X Prime Mortgage, and we'll just run through from start to finish how you will add a client into the system and for them to use the client portal. Okay. So first of all, on the left-hand side, we've got this option that says new client. So I'm just going to create them as a new client into the system. So today we will just do Jenna. And I'm not going to add in masses of information today because it's not needed for the purpose of this today. I'm just going to add in the asterisks. I'm going to add in the title. And then also I'm going to go over and I'm going to add an email type. So work email. And then that is all I need for today. You will see if you're adding a client into the system, there's lots of different boxes that you can add. And then you can also add whether or not the client's vulnerable, which will then prompt the fact find to have another page. So you can actually add what is vulnerable about the client. So once I've put all of those details in, I can then go to marketing preferences and consent. And then I can create that client within the system. So that will then bring me to a client summary. So a client summary is everything that that client has done within the system. So for example, if I just look over here, I can go in to view the fact find. So if you're not setting up the client portal and you just want to go straight in and add in the fact find, you can just go in to do that straight away by pressing view fact find. But today I am just going to run through how that client portal is set up. So in the top right hand side, we have got the client's name, so Jenna Harper, and we have client access for Jenna. So I'm just going to click on client access for Jenna. This will then enable you to create a username and ID. And what I would probably say is for every client, I'd use the same user ID and the same sort of password. So in this case, I'm going to use jenna.harper. The same if it was for me, I'd do georgie.rideout. And then for the password, I'm just going to type in something that I would normally use. And then I'm going to force that password change on next login. So they have to change it once they log in to start off with. It does help if it is the same and you know what it is for if, for example, client can't find that email. If it goes into junk, you know exactly what that username and password is. So I'm just going to press save for this. Now in the background, what you won't see today is the client will then get an email with the URL for the client portal, their user ID, and a password sent through to their email. But what we're going to do is we are going to go into the client portal today. Mine will look slightly different to yours. Yours will not have pigs and it will not say ABC Financial, so don't worry about that. But what we're going to do is we're just going to type in what the username and password would have been for this client. We're going to log in. We're going to enter a new password. You can see they force that password change. And when I confirm the password, I will then need to just run through the terms of use. So I'm just going to agree to those. And then I just need to put in some security questions. So once I've completed those questions, it will then let me on to the client portal. So just remember, this is how the client would see their end. So looking through this, you can see I've got the message. This is the email that they would get, and I can come in and see any messages that have been sent to me. But what I'm going to do before, sorry, this is basically what the client will see. But before the client logs into this, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back into the client access. And you'll then see we've got this option that says fact find status, which I'm going to unlock for the client. So then when they log into their client portal, log in, you'll then see that they have this fact find that pops up. So if I go to let's get started, this will actually allow the client to fill in most of the fact find if they have all of that information or little bits of information that you've asked them to fill in. It can be fully directed by you. So if you just say you want them to fill out their personal information and address history, then absolutely fine. You can run through that. If you want them to fill out the whole thing with as much information as possible, then obviously they can do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to personal details. And you can see these are the bits that I've already filled in as the advisor. But I can then go in and add extra bits. So I can fill out these bits, save and continue. I can then go through to employment. And let's just say I'm going to add in an occupation. So I'm employed and I earn £50,000 a year. And my job title is, occupation is, let's just say I'm a jeweler. I'm not going to add any extra bits of information in. I'm just going to press save. But as you can see, I can run through this and then add in address histories, any properties, mortgages, anything that are on, any bits that are on here. And then let's, for example, just say that we've run through everything today that we need to. I'm going to press submission and I'm just going to press submit. So this will submit it back to you as the advisor. Now, I'm going to go back over to the client summary. So we're back in Expert Mortgage now. We are back to where you can see all of your information. If I go into view the fact find, you'll now see that I have this whole fact find. I can use the tabs on the left-hand side, so I can scroll through and I can pick up different bits of information. So if I go to contact details, if I go to employment, I can skip options. But if I want to go through the whole thing at the same time, I can just do a backwards and a forwards by going to liabilities at the bottom. And then I can go back to employment and income at the bottom. So in the employment field here, you can see that these are some of the bits that I added as the client. So you can now see I'm a jeweler. My salary is 50,000. I can go forward, I can go back, I can go in and add certain mortgages. So let's just say we're adding a mortgage today. I've got all of these fields that I can go in and add the status of these mortgages. So let's just say I'm a remortgage. I'm currently with Nationwide. Let's just say I've got a balance of 200,000, payment amount 100. I don't know if any of these figures are remotely right, but just bear with me for this. So original balance, you can add that in. Rate, end date, you can add that in as well. And then you could just press save and it will update that mortgage for you so you can see it there. We have got an expenditure bit as well. So you can add in things like basic essential, basic quality of living, committed expenditure. You can add all of that in here. And you will see we do have a notes section on the right-hand side. So you can see that will be added to each and every option on here, so we've got pensions, insurance, that note section will then appear on the section of the fact find that you're looking at. So once you're finished with the fact find, what you can then do is you can either go over to the left-hand side and you can create a new requirement. So as you already know, a requirement is a source. So you can then go and source for your mortgage from that end. Or you can go back to the client summary. So I'm just going to click on Jenna Harper at the top. I can then go on and print that fact find. So you want an evidence of that fact find for your case file. So you'll need to print it. So it is a document that you can then attach to the file. This is an online fact find. So if you retype over something, then it will go. But if you've got this printed fact find, then you've got that for your file. Okay. So that is all of the information on the fact find. And I'm just going to go down to notes and tasks. So in the notes section here, you can see I've had the online username created for the client portal. The client information has been submitted, and this is also the pre-meeting questions have been filled out. So this is how you will know that the client's been in the client portal. It will send you a note. So let's just say a client, we want to just send them a note just to go on and upload their documents. So if I go on to new note, I can then go in, I can say, what should we call this? Compliance. Please case. So I need, you would obviously provide a little bit more word into this. I'm just doing this in the case of today. Please. So yeah, I'm going to put it down to that. So you can put a subtype as well. So I'm going to put documentation. And for the client to see it, you need to make sure that this is visible to client. Okay. And then I'm also going to notify the client as well, so they get an email to say that they need to log in. You can attach documents, so you can just drop files here, or you can click to add files and it will then send it over to the client. So say, for example, you have an IDD that you want to send over, you can then add it to this one, add the file, and it will send it to their client portal. So it's basically a secure way of sending messages. So I'm just going to save this. When I go back into the client portal as the client, I'm just going to refresh it. You'll then see I have this note. Please upload documents for the case. I can then reply as the client. I can attach the documents. So we are doing, let's just say bank statement fact find, and we'll do a passport as well. All of those documents will be added. They can send a little note. I can send the message over. And then it will go back to the client summary. If I refresh, you'll then be able to see my client has then responded to that message as well. So that's a little bit on your notes section, okay? If I go over to the tasks as well, so tasks are things for you to action. So if I just go in, for example, I'm just going to add a new task. We've got a type section, so you can add in all of these options. So let's just say, for example, I want to add in an end date for this client for their mortgage that I need to review. So I can add in a review here, book a review, and then I've got a description as well. And you can just attach this to the client and it will then appear on your dashboard. So you've got that option. It might even be something that you want to follow up on. So the tasks are there if you want to use them. And then what I might do, I might just give a quick pause and just see if there's any questions, because I think that's pretty much everything I need to run through today. So we ran through the client portal, we've ran through the fact find, and then tasks and notes as well. So we've gone through all of those bits. What I will just touch upon actually is I will go through a quick source. So all I'm going to do is go to new requirement and add mortgage from this point. So this would be for me to run through a source for this client. So let's just say we're looking at a new purchase of this property. %. I'm not going to add loads of information in this bit because I'm pretty sure most of you should already know all of this. So I'm just going to go on to source for this mortgage, and it will then bring me to my results. So I'm just going to select a product for the purpose of what I'm looking at today. So I'm just going to select the Halifax one, and I'm just going to go to the illustration section. And it will then bring me to this timeline. So if I go on to affordability review, it will tell me if I filled out the fact find, whether or not the budget is affordable. So I'm just going to close through that. It is not an affordability calculator with the lender, as you probably are already aware. It will then allow me to generate my documents. So if you've added your broker fees in already, they will already be here, so you can just add them in. Proc list, just select who's paying you, and then generate that illustration. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this today. But the reason I've gone into this is so I can show you the next steps that you might have not had available before. So we now have this option that says recommend product. So if you are producing the suitability letters on here, you are more than welcome to. You will need to press this recommend product to be able to produce that suitability letter. So if I just press yes to this, you can add in notes and then you can then save that. So we can then produce the suitability letter. So all I have to do is click the button for that, and it will then download it as a Word document. So I'm just going to click here. And as you can see, like the mortgage illustration and the product list download, your suitability letter will also then download too. So if I just scroll through this just to give you a quick run through of it. So we've got all the product information. It will then tell me what I'm going to be paying relating to that mortgage. It will copy across things for reasons of recommendation, deposit, term, things like what lender you're going with. And then you can just fill out the rest. Please bear in mind, Julian Harris will still need you to fill in certain bits of the suitability letter. So there's wording that you'll still have to add, but this is just a generic template that you get with Xplan Mortgage. And once you've completed it, all you need to do is save. And then you've got a copy that you can add to your files after. But then what I'll do as well, we have this implement button at the end of this timeline, which will add this mortgage that you're looking at to the fact find of the client. So ignore these crosses. If you don't have that information right now, then that's absolutely fine. You'll still be able to add it. I'm just going to press implement, and it will add it to the fact find for the client. So I'll just show you where that goes. If we go to Jenna Harper, we're going to go into that fact find, so view fact find. And then we're going to go into the liability section. And you'll see this is the mortgage that I added in the fact find earlier, but this is the one that we're actually applying for. So application pending. If I go into this, you can then change the status of it as well. So you can then change status to whatever stage you're at. And you can then look on the top, you'll see this application tab where you can add in dates of which bits which stages have happened, and also things like solicitor details, estate agents, and you can add comments to it as well. Okay. So I think that is pretty much everything that I need to run through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the Q&A section. I'm not going to be able to answer all of these today, but we will definitely get back to you on most of them. So Gerald, you asked whether or not can you partially fill in a fact find prior to sending via the portal. You can fill out as much as you want. Obviously that will then come up on the client's part. So the one thing I will say, that's a good reminder for me. So once you've come out of the client portal, you've got the client to fill out everything that you need. You will need to just make sure that this fact find status says locked. Okay. So once you've gone in, the client's filled out everything that they need to, just make sure you come back in and you press locked, because it then means the client can't change anything. Okay. So just make sure you press that. Fact find asks on pensions. That's sorry, I'll read out the full question. Fact find asks about pensions, etc. We don't advise on pensions. That's absolutely fine. It is in there just in case you do need to record a pension. But if you don't need it, then don't worry about it. Yes, so is there a download facility to download fact find notes and documents? Yes, there is. So when I showed you here, so you can print that fact find, it will automatically download it to your downloads on your browser, and then you can use it there. It's possible to customize. So customize the client portal and logo. So I believe if you are an AR and you have your own logos for the client portal, we are able to do that for you, yes. But you would just have to speak to the compliance team and they will send the request over to us so we can set the client portal up how it should be. Sorry, just trying to read some. There is one here about personalizing the suitability reports and logos. So the suitability report and some of the other documents aren't able to be personalized. Once they are downloaded as a Word doc, you can take our logo off and put yours on it, then that's absolutely fine. But it's not something that we can that you'll be able to personalize, unfortunately, unless you do it once it's downloaded. One of the questions is it possible to do a soft credit search through the Iress site to fill the liabilities for credit commitments? No, unfortunately, that is not something you will be able to do. Okay, so someone's asked when this will be up and running for us to start using. I believe it should be up and running now. If you do want the client portal, you'll just need to let us know, and then we can get it set up for you. So I think that's some of the questions answered today. What I will do is I will write all these questions out and then get them sent over in a question and answers box. So you can see all of those as well. But that brings us to the end of the session today. So that is everything that you need. Just to point out, if you do need any further support with this, I am the training consultant here and I'm more than happy to help. My email address is on here. So georgie.rideout@iress.com. I will leave it up for a couple of minutes just so you have a chance to write it down. But yeah, if you do need any help with any of this, please just get in touch and we will be more than happy to help you through it. Okay, so thanks to everyone that has joined the session today, and hopefully I will hear from a couple of you after the call. Take care.